How can you then make sure that you're not infringing somebody else's copyright? Well, when you're starting from scratch with a new company name or a new product idea, perhaps a slogan or a logo, it's really sensible to firstly do a thorough Google search to check there's none of your competitors are doing anything similar, and equally to look on the UK Intellectual Property Register to see what registered trademarks exist, to look on Companies House and also domain name search so that you can work out what else is out there and then try not to infringe that. Similarly, when you're creating your website or if you're developing a new platform or promotional materials, it's really important that you assess how much third-party material you're using and where that's come from. So photographs are a particularly key example for this, because you may think that just because somebody has posted a photograph on the internet, they no longer have any copyright in it or they've waived their copyright, but that's not necessarily true, and you could risk infringing if you copy and paste into your own website a photograph that you think is freely available. The same applies to taking large chunks of text from somebody's article or book. There's a risk that if copyright still exists in that text, that you could infringe it without realising it. So when you're devising these materials and your website, for example, it's ideal really if you can create everything from scratch, but also consider subscribing to some of these photo databases where you can pay a fee and then use any of their photos without repercussions, rather than relying on copying and pasting from other internet sites. So in summary, the ways you can try to avoid infringing are, firstly, thorough research into competing organisations and brands. Secondly, be aware that just because material appears freely available on the internet doesn't mean that it necessarily is freely available. And thirdly, try to create as much of your website content, promotional materials and products as you can from scratch.